probably tomorrow is going to be the last session on economy through terminology. Very few dimensions related to basic economics are left. So today and tomorrow we will try to cover most of them. After that your basic learning on economy will start, probably next week or next week it will start. Okay. Now, anybody having any doubts what we have covered since so far till now? Anybody, any doubt in whatever we have covered? If not, we'll straight away move to our next topic of discussion. Where were we yesterday? What was the topic? Countervailing duties. When do we apply countervailing duties? कौन बताएगा? When a country applies the countervailing duty? When do you want to reduce the effect of export subsidies by the exporting country to their own farmers? That's what we said, no, yesterday. अरे क्या बोला था? अरे जिंदा हो चले गए सारे. हाँ. Now tell me, who is regulating? See, for example, India is a country. We are dealing with various other countries in trade relationships. China is trying to send something to India, and I know that China has not given so many subsidies to that particular sector which is trying to export something to India, but India still decides to put the what you call countervailing duty. It means India is doing something wrong, yes or no? Now, who is controlling or who is seeing at an international level to see whatever a country is imposing in the form of a tariff barrier or non-tariff barrier, whether that is right or wrong? Who is saying? Huh? WTO, World Trade Organization. उसका काम क्या है? We told, see what we discussed. One of the important notions of international trade is there should not be any barriers. That's what we spoke, no? What is the basic dimension of international trade? That there should not be any restriction, no, on trade. Yes or no? What did we discuss? Mfn status, most favored nation status. Though the word sounds favoritism, most favored, but it is actually the absence of any discrimination. It means there should not be any discrimination when you are internationally trading, yes or no? So it means that despite the fact that there should not be any discrimination, the countries are at liberty to impose certain kind of tariff barriers and non-tariff barriers. One of the tariff barriers we discussed was countervailing duty, and we said that whenever any country feels that it is wrongly taxed by the importing country, either in the form of anti-dumping duty or countervailing duty, it can always go to the dispute resolution mechanism of WTO. Please make a note. Dispute resolution mechanism body. There is a body called dispute resolution mechanism. It can go and file a case against India or that particular country. Okay? Related to this, there is one more concept. I think I had discussed about this in the initial part only, but I will try to bring that topic. National treatment, very important from foreign trade perspective. National treatment. What was this concept of national treatment that we had discussed last? Whatever? No. See, whatever restrictions you can put on a country's product which is exporting, all these restrictions only during the process of importing. Once the product is imported and it reaches the market, we cannot put any restrictions on that product. So in a way, you are promising to give national treatment to that particular product. If this is a Chinese what you call produced pen, and if this is an Indian produced pen, you cannot tell the shopkeeper because it is an Indian produced Chinese produced pen, tax it 20%, because it is an Indian produced pen, tax it 10%. So this discrimination, once the product enters the market, cannot be done. So whatever you want to do, you do during the process of importing or exporting, But once the product is imported and it reaches the common marketplace where people come and buy and sell their goods, you cannot distinguish between different items. When you go to any store like Reliance Digital or Bajaj Electronics, there are some electronic goods which are produced or developed in India, some are imported. Do you think there may be a change in the price naturally, but they cannot put any restriction on that case, or if you purchase this, I will tax you 10% more. If you purchase this, you will get 10% less because it is an Indian product. So that clause calls for national treatment. Please make a note. National treatment denotes that when any product reaches the market, after it is imported, it deserves the same treatment, akin to AKIN, deserves the same treatment akin to the domestically produced product. This in economic parlance, PARLANC, economic parlance, is denoted as providing national treatment. Very, very important. Okay. One problem had occurred here. United States took India to the WTO dispute resolution mechanism. What was the product? Solar panels. India US disputes on solar panels. Box banao, Google karo. India US dispute over national treatment of solar panels. India US dispute in WTO on solar panels, national treatment. In one of the schemes, flagship schemes of India, what India said was, if you purchase domestically produced solar panels, you will get a further discount and rebate. The moment India announced this scheme, US went to the WTO dispute resolution mechanism saying that this is discriminatory and against the clause of national treatment. Okay? Though you may think I am an independent country here, I can decide whatever I want to do. Though you are an independent country, there are some international norms of trade that you need to follow. Why? Because in 1991, when you went for LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization, globalization reforms, I told Washington consensus, 10 points. So in that, one of the point is non-discrimination to the foreign player entering into the market. It means you have promised not to treat him as a stepmotherly treatment. So that is the reason why you are bounded by what you have signed as part of your LPG reforms. Okay? Now very important, probably this will take today's entire class. See, yesterday we started this discussion, is it good to be self-sufficient or is it good to be integrated with the world when it comes to economic matters? And we gave an example as a result of our experiences in the past. Through the year of Great Depression, we have always learnt that it is always advisable to be interdependent rather than it is always advisable to have what does interdependence ensure? Interdependence ensures it will result in avoidance of wars. And in a way it will also result in maintaining balance of power in some dimensions. So that interdependence between the countries is good. Now, if I am interdependent, It means I will import, I will also export. What is less, what is more depends on the economic capability of that particular country. Now, you will see many countries have only one product to export. Like when we go to Middle East countries, the only product that they have is oil, what we call it, FOL, fuel, oil and lubricants, right? FOL, oil. When they have oil only to sell, it means that they are exporting only one commodity, however they are importing many. Yes or no? Why is it that those economies, in fact, even though they have only one product, with that particular product, they are integrating with the rest of the world. How they are integrating with the rest of the world? They are importing other items that they want because their dependence is on that, and they are exporting what they have in plenty. You try to understand the integration here. Here the integration is surplus of one item and deficiency of so many other items. But despite that, why it is so that these economies are such big and what you call profitable economies? They have only one product. Yeah, that is the demand for that. When you see these economies in the 60s, early 60s and late 60s, the discovery of oil in West Asia or Middle East as you call it was done by the foreigners. It means these countries who were now claiming to be one of the richest economies in the world, they were paupers at times. मतलब उनको सिर्फ बकरी in when you see in countries like Qatar and all, they were all tribesmen doing only shepherds. They were shepherds by their what you call basic occupation. It was the foreigners who came, who dig holes and who told भैया इधर oil है. मतलब इतने नालायक लोग हैं कि उनको खुद नहीं पता कि उनके पास इतना कुछ सामान है to internationally trade. It means because there was no technological know-how with them, so that is the reason why your Alaska was given by whom to whom? Today Russia is saying, no, Alaska is mine, please give it back to me. He said, no, I will not give it back. 1870 you sold it to me and I have paid money to you for selling Alaska to me. Because Russia at that point of time did not have the technological know-how to do that kind of drilling and extract natural resources so deep through the ice. Today 25% of the US oil reserves come from Alaska, 50% of the gold reserves of US come from Alaska, and these people sold Alaska on peanuts, peanut के हिसाब से बेच दिया. And when the US purchased, that time also Americans also scolded people, the bureaucrats then and the political leaders, that you have purchased ice box by paying so much of millions of dollars, because at that time US also did not know that there is so much of what you call natural resource. So it many a times it so depends that other countries will come and tell you what is there more in you, and this is also happening because of if Saudi Arabia did not allow the US to enter, will US ever be able to tell what is there underneath? No, right? So that is the reason why interdependence at times brings it with it technological know-how to extract more and more natural resources and give rebirth to your economy. So in that concept we will try to see how the integration of couple of economies, two economies or multiple economies over a period of time starts with being an independent economy and ends at becoming a political union, a market union or a monetary union, a fiscal union, and penultimately a political union, right? As we said, independent economy is what economy? An independent economy is such economy which is completely self-dependent and not dependent on any other country for its sustenance. Please make a note. An independent economy is such an economy which is capable of producing oblique manufacturing, all the goods and services goods and services desired by the people, desired by the people, desired by the people without being dependent on, without being dependent on any external country, without being dependent on any external country. Full stop. Change the paragraph and write, however, comma, the growth prospects, PROSPECTS, however, the growth prospects in an independent economy, the growth prospects in an independent economy gradually narrows down, due to the paucity of, due to the paucity of natural resources, due to the paucity, PAUCITY, due to the paucity of natural resources for sustainable growth, of natural resources for sustainable growth. This, full stop, this comma, this opens up the, this opens up the debate on, this opens up the debate on integration, the debate on economic integration, right? Economic integration with the rest of the world, opens up the debate of economic integration with the rest of the world to sustain its developmental trajectory, to sustain its developmental trajectory, developmental trajectory. Say, for example, listen, we all spoke about one example, North Korea in the contemporary times. We said that though it is not a classic example of an independent economy, but because of the political structure, it has decided not to economically, politically or militarily engage with any other country in the world, openly at least. This is what you call North Korea has decided. But is it independent economy in true sense? No. It means the independence of the economy is thrusted by the political dictum and not by the availability of the all the natural resources in that particular country. So that is why we said that the present day's North Korea is not a classic example of an independent economy. So is there any country in the modern contemporary times which can be classified as an independent economy? Think. Any country you feel it can survive? No, the answer is no. Now, if the answer is no, it means, see, when the evolution of society would have happened, the trade engagement would have come at a later stage with the neighbor. The first engagement would have been war, right? For why? Because we all wanted more and more territories under our control. And why the territories under control was required? More natural resources, so that you become more and more self-sufficient. It means natural resources are an underlying principle to become an independent economy, and the distribution of land resources, the natural resources, is such that no country can claim that I have whatever I need. Today, no country can claim that I have whatever I need. It means that the natural resources are distributed across the countries, though they may not be evenly distributed, because India does not have any oil resources the way the Middle East countries have. So that is how our dependence is what you call created on them. The same way they do not have the human capital to do the extraction. So that is how the Indians go there and work. So that is how the dependence, if there is so much of oil, if there is nobody to dig and do the work that you are wanting to do, is there any use of that natural resource? Because human is also labor is also one of the resource factors of production that will be taught to you. So it means that they are dependent on India on labor resource. We are dependent as a country on them for the natural resource that they have. So whenever the engagement will start between two countries, we will start with a preferential trade agreement or a preferential trade area. This is the first step of integration. What does it say? A preferential trade agreement or an area is a trading bloc that gives preferential access to certain products from the participating countries. Please make a note. Preferential access is the word that you need to underline. Now, what do you understand by this word preferential access? It means you will get the priority. See, we spoke about alliance, no? In one of the classes initially. I spoke about alliance. Did I or not? Alliance we spoke, right? We said what is the, in alliance, say there are two countries, country A, country B. A is a smaller country, B is a bigger country, not geographically, political power, economic power, military power. B is a bigger country, A is a smaller country. Who will offer alliance partnership to whom? हाँ ये फंस गई, बोल, हाँ बोल, बोल कोई बात नहीं बोल, हाँ. A is a smaller country, no? Is A wanting to seek military security protection or B wanting to give security protection? It is never A wanting a military protection. It is B wanting to give military protection. The reason here is, if he says I want military protection, why will he give protection? He will capture it, no? अरे थोड़ा तो दिमाग लाओ. अगर वो बोलेगा कि I need your military protection, it means that you are fearing that I will attack you. But I should not tell that. But I will create an atmosphere where he will say, don't worry younger brother, I will protect you. Military protection I will give you. But is he giving that military protection for free? No. He is giving for preferential market access. Very, very important. It means I should get the right to your market access over others. This is in an alliance structure. So here there is a kind of legal binding for A to give preferential market access to B because B is providing security protection. So that is the reason why in alliance the preferential market access is a different dimension. But in a participating country, it means both are equal countries, they just want to engage with each other. So in certain sectors this is given when they give preferential access to each other. What do you understand by preferential access? What is the meaning of the word preferential access? That when some ships are coming through the shore, your ship will be given entry first. Is that the meaning of preferential access? What is the meaning of preferential access then? What do you understand by word access, preferential access? I am giving you preference over others. What is the meaning there?
Not particular product or there is a more demand, we will be first satisfying the particular first.
See, you have a scarcity of this product. This country is also producing, that country is also producing. Whom will you give? Need not, one is, she said one is alliance. So alliance ko side mein rakho, there is no alliance. There is no alliance partnership between you or her or you or him. Now whom will you give? To whomsoever country you have a tie-up. The moment you say that I am giving her preferential access, it means that I am reducing, the word is reducing, not, it means that I am giving you whatever taxes, we spoke, no, tariff barriers. This tax is what? A tariff barrier, no, import duty is a tariff barrier. It's a tax. So I am telling you because we are participating countries, I will reduce the amount of import duty for you. We spoke about the Harley Davidson example, no? Yes or no? Harley Davidson earlier, the import duty was 100%. If the value, the moment the bike is loaded on a ship on the shores of America, if the value of the bike is 12 lakhs Indian rupees, the moment that bike lands in the Mumbai port, it will become 12 lakhs into 2, 100%, 24 lakhs. It means that there is no preferential access, and whatever tariffs I have decided, I will put. It means there is no preferential access given to America for exporting Harley Davidson bike to India. I have many reasons why I am not wanting to give, we will not get into that. But it only showcases that there is an absence of preferential access to you. It means that we are not still engaging in that particular level of engagement that I wish to give you some preferential access. But gradually this 100% became 75%. Is it not a sign of preferential access? Yes or no? This 75% then became 50%. Is it again not a sign of further preferential access? Yes or no? Now he wanted more than 50%. Then Modi said, मैं भी गुजराती हूँ यार, इससे कम मैं तो नहीं दूँगा, ठीक है? So that is the reason why it finally ended in Harley Davidson closing its shops in India, because it could not compete with 50% of import duty with the Indian producers in India who were able to produce in 2.5-3 lakh rupees. Because already the price was 12 lakh rupees. If it continued that 50%, it means 18 lakh rupees. So a normal Indian will go for an 18 lakh bike or 2.5 lakhs bike. So that is the reason why the sales of Harley Davidson finally dropped, and it was a big failure in India, Harley Davidson. Many countries Harley Davidson failed other than America because the countries did not open their economy to welcome the Harley Davidson. So it showcases the absence of preferential access. So whenever you are economically trying to integrate with the rest of the world, whether it is bilateral or it is multilateral, very, very important, whether it is bilateral or multilateral, it could be preferential access, could be bilateral one-to-one, multilateral amongst a couple of countries. What is a classic example of a multilateral agreement? Batao, which is in news recently? Trade partnership का example दो. One he gave. BRICS was in news. BRICS was in news. It is a trade partnership primarily. BRICS, BRICS. Which all countries? Mahima, any idea? BRICS. B for Brazil, Russia, China. S for Sri Lanka, no? South Africa. Okay? So these were the countries who decided to partner. So this preferential access could be bilateral one-to-one India-China, or it could be on a multilateral platform called multilateral any entity also. This is the first step. Now what is the second step? We call it free trade agreement or a free trade area. There we reduced the tariff. Here what you are doing? You are it is not, it need not be completely zero, it could be close to zero. It need not compulsorily, free matlab, it is not compulsorily that you have to bring it down to zero. They could still go with some little what you call token amount as a tariff. So it says that a free trade area is a region encompassing a trade bloc whose member countries have signed a free trade agreement. Such agreements involve cooperation between at least two countries. Again the word is to reduce trade barriers, import quotas and tariffs, and to increase the trade of goods and services with each other. So now what is the difference between preferential access and the free trade area? There is a further reduction in the tariff which is resulting in the increased trade, Now free trade area means, see, if it is bilateral, please listen to this dimension very carefully. If the free trade area is bilateral between two countries, you know the what you call the strengths of that country that you are trading with and the weakness of that country. So it is very easier for a country to decide whether to actually go for it or not. Right? It is easier. Like for example, India and say Nepal, for example. It is very easier for India to decide whether to go for a free trade agreement with Nepal or not. Like India and Japan also signed a free trade agreement. The moment you signed a free trade agreement, drastically reducing the import quotas and the trade barriers, yes or no? The moment those got reduced, one of your industrial sector, it completely got disturbed. Why? Because the Indian manufacturers could not compete with Japanese manufacturers. So your complete iron and steel industrial sector took a big, very bad beating. Because probably somewhere we failed to contemplate, if you go for a free trade agreement with such a strong country which has a strong manufacturing, Japan is known for its industrial development, right? So you went for an industrial development country's free trade agreement with some backlashes, especially to the iron and steel sector. That is the reason why when India was thinking of joining this regional comprehensive economic partnership, because this is a block, it is not a, because this is a block, this is when we were skeptical, because one of the big elephants here is China. Now one more big elephant here, who is that? Australia. And what was the problem with Australia? Australia is a very strong country when it comes to agriculture and allied services like dairy and all, right? So that is the reason why India was skeptical of joining the RCEP. And one of the important reasons why it did not join is, when you spoke about trade, you did not speak about which is your strength. This body said, as of now we are only talking about trade, sir. The services is not within the reference of agreement as of now. India said, whatever is my weakness you have included, whatever is my strength you have excluded. I have decided not to join. Whenever you, what you call, grow up and decide to include service also as a free trade dimension, that is when I will enter the market. And who would have stopped services being included as a dimension? Because he fears that, because India's strength lies in services. So India became a free trade agreement partner with Japan. India did not become a free trade partner with RCEP. The signing of free trade agreement with one more entity, European Union, it is, मैं जब से UPSC की तैयारी कर रहा हूँ, जब से वो चली रहा है discussion, it is going on. It's more than 15 years now that the free trade agreement between India and European Union is still under discussions. Why? Because here the tariff barrier is not coming into picture. Here the non-tariff barrier is coming into picture. In the discussions, which is delaying the discussion, because European Union as an entity has very strong regulatory frameworks of sanitary and phytosanitary measures. Basically, measures related to the fertilizers that we use in the production process. The quality control checks. So European Union has a very high standard of quality control checks. So that is the reason why, despite our best efforts, in the last 1.5 to 2 decades, we have not been able to sign a free trade agreement. So here with a country we signed, here with some entities we are facing the problem. So what is the first step of economic integration? Preferential trade agreement. And what is the second step? A free trade agreement. So now tell me, the bonding between two countries which are in free trade agreement is stronger, or which are still only under the preferential trade agreement is stronger? Free trade. It means that we are more and more deeply integrating with interdependencies increasing. That is the reason why you still do not have a free trade agreement with China. Can India ever have free trade agreement with China? एकदम से आंसर मत दिया करो. हाँ, stronger in the sense, Modi is 36 inches. ओके, राइट नाउ अमेरिका इज द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट कंट्री, यहीं पे पॉपुलर चालू हो गया. हाँ, और okay. हाँ, anybody? When can India and China sign a free trade agreement? Reshma, bol. When I will become the cabinet secretary, sir, then I will decide definitely. Huh? Let's not get into history. 1 घंटा मैं टाइम खा जाऊंगा, ठीक है? हाँ? He says when the border issues get settled, maybe at that point of time we may go for a free trade agreement. See, in the present circumstances, if you go for a free trade agreement with China, who will benefit? China will benefit. And the trade deficit is in India, right? It means there is a trade surplus in China. If we go for a free trade agreement now, whether this trade deficit will widen or narrow? It will widen. If the trade deficit widens, who lost it? India lost it. And see, always remember, in economic interaction with the world amongst countries, there is an element called reciprocity. There is an element called reciprocity. It means one country cannot benefit against the another country disproportionately. So that dimension you need to understand. If something like, if say China imposes on India, I am going to attack you tomorrow if you do not sign the free trade agreement, will India agree to it? No. And who will come to the rescue of India? The entire world will come to the rescue of India, because you are creating a imbalanced situation for a country which is still not strong enough to sign a free trade agreement with you. So preferential trade area is reduced tariffs with an intention to give preferential access. In a free trade area, the tariffs are further drastically reduced. And which is the third step in the economic integration? Which is the third step in economic integration? It is called a customs union. Now, just read this, then I will explain you what it is. See, there is a block, for example, there is a block of 3 countries, A, B and C, and just follow this word, common external tariff. He is trading with country D, he is trading with country E, he is trading with country F. And as I told you, these 3 countries are customs union countries. Okay? Now, if F is trading with C, A is trading with D and B is trading with E. Now, A sold iron and steel to D at the rate of 100 rupees per kg. At the rate of 100 rupees per kg, assumption. He can demand the same from C at the rate of 100 rupees per kg, even though he may not have this direct interaction with it. So that is how he is establishing common external tariff. If he is giving any concessions to D, he will also seek the same concessions from C, because these 3 countries are part of a customs union. What is the advantage? Who is in advantage here? The countries which are trading independently. If they have reached a level of a customs union, it means their economies are stronger. Yes or no? Yes or no? It means their economic integration is deeper. See, this integration will just not like that happen. It will be result of a past hundreds of years of economic interdependence experience with each other. Then only they will form a customs union, yes or no? They will calculate all these dimensions before doing that. Why? Because he knows that the moment B gives some discount to E, F will claim the same discount from C. Because he is duty bound to maintain a common external tariff. So if he gives concessions to him, he can seek the same concessions, he can seek the same concessions. But now one dimension that you need to understand is they will have to rethink about their concessions and rates amongst themselves before independently interacting with others. Yes or no? Because they know that they will also ask us the same concessions. So if they are having a common external tariff, it means they are acting as a customs union. Please make a note. And this common rate structure is through what? Through trade pacts, not only phone calls, because we know apna wala mukar jayega. ठीक है? So that is the reason why they will write a proper trade pacts. Signing will happen between all of them. That's very important dimension. ठीक है? Free trade is, see, that's what. In a free trade, he is free to trade with him. He is least bothered whether he will ask the same from him or not. So it is the next level of integration. So that is how, say for example, at the second level they were freely trading with each other. Now they felt over a period of interaction, 3 decades, 4 decades, now that interdependence has happened so strongly, let's make a customs union amongst ourselves. See, the moment you are a customs union, the world will start looking at you with, some pride, because you have proved that you are economically stronger than the others. See, 3 failed states cannot form a customs union. 3 failed economies cannot form a customs union. Leave aside they are asking for the same, nobody will interact with them in the first place. So it is a sign of economic development or growth, whatever you call it. Okay? So very important. So first stage is preferential trade agreement, second stage is free trade agreement, third stage is common union. Preferential trade, reduced tariffs, free trade, closest to zero tariff, further reduced tariff. Third, reduced tariff, free trade amongst themselves, and also a common external tariff. Okay? This is the third stage. Fourth stage, a common market. And what is the addition in that common market? In the common market, in the customs market or the customs union, it was only the trade and dimensions related to import and export. Here, the labor and investment also become part of your trade engagement. Very important. It means people can freely roam around the union, this particular common market, which is the most classic example today, is a classic example of a common market. That is why if you take Shenzhen visa in any of these European countries, any of the 28 countries, you can roam around with that same visa from in all the countries. That is how the importance of the coming together, the economic integration becomes important. Common market is preferential area, free trade area, plus customs union, plus free movement of labor and capital. Okay? Now, it means that they have a common pact with each other. If I am an external country to this market, common market, I sign a pact with one of the countries, it means that I have signed the pact with the entire common market, not that particular country. Whatever trade regulations are there in that particular country, because those are the trade regulations which are common across all the common market countries, 28, 29, it means that the same rules and regulations will follow in all the countries. So that is how it is important. So it is customs union plus labor and capital, the free movement of labor and capital. Now, is it not denoting further improvement in the economic parlance, moving towards a common market, right? And in the economic dimension, last is the economic union, where you are having very important. क्या है इसमें? More than the common market, what you have? What you have in an economic union? You have a common economic policies. It means that there is one entity controlling the entire dimension of your economy. If one country is reducing the interest rate, automatically the interest rates of all the countries is reducing. So it is not France reducing its interest rate, it is the complete European Union reducing its interest rate. So there is a common entity which is controlling all the dimensions related to it. So that is the reason why it is having a common economic policy. Very, very important. See, that's what you have to understand, that this is only a sign of deeper economic integration, where the frontiers or the boundaries are non-existent. Only it is physically on ground, but when it comes to the economic sphere, there is no boundary between France and Germany, for example. And these are the two countries who fought brutally during the Second World War. Just imagine, the countries those have fought brutally during the Second World War are in an economic union pact with them today. So what it has resulted into, what I told you in the first slide, the independent economy leads to war. The integration will avoid war. Today France economy is so dependent on Germany that if France thinks of fighting a war with Germany, the economy of France will collapse. Why? Because all the natural resources are coming from Germany to France in its manufacturing industries. Because the earlier routes of colonial raw materials coming has stopped now. So now it is only the good relationships that will get you raw materials. So in this scenario, the interdependence between the country has increased, which has culminated in the form of formation of an economic union. So that is the reason why today they are fighting collectively against Russia. Yes or no? Today they are collectively fighting against Russia. Try to understand the importance. And lastly, they will have a common currency. Very, very important. That is how we have we'll talk about one dimension. Is it good to have a common currency or bad to have a common currency? एक 5 minute discuss करेंगे, then we'll move it. So it has economic union, customs union, common market along with common currency. ठीक है? What was there in the common market?
So what is the difference between common economic policies and
Common currency. Economic policy means the entity that is creating policy for you is one. In a common currency means not only the policy, the currency issued by that entity also you are accepting as a common currency. That is how euro has been accepted as a common currency amongst the European countries. Okay? Yeah. Now tell me, having a common currency is good or bad?
sometimes it's bad because we can't measure the imports and exports.
There is no import export. तुम सभी
Like profit.
there is no import export. It is like interstate trade. When you are purchasing something coming from Punjab to Telangana, do you think it is import? No. There is no import export within European Union, believe me. If you entered from Poland inside European Union, it means you have entered European Union, nobody can stop you till you go to France. Because you have already taken permission to enter Poland. So there is no import export within the European Union. Currency, common currency, good or bad? Should India also should go for common currency with countries like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, China, Russia, Myanmar? Why you people are saying no? Why? क्यों भाई?
Certain exit from European nations is one of the.
They are idiots यार, वो छोड़ दो. They'll prove it in 20 years. You will see during your service period, when you will get posted there, you will see the ills of exiting European Union, Britain. पढ़े लिखे लोग भी बेवकूफ़ी करते हैं, don't worry. So see, this balance of economic development in all the countries, it can never be ensured, no? Can it ever be ensured? Can you say these two countries are a perfect balance to each other, political, economic and military?